Hello, guys, and welcome to another episode of Incompetent Nerds. It is July 22nd. I am your host, Mark, and I'm once again joined by Tank.
Joined by Tank. Making it seem like this is your podcast.
Hey, you let me do the intro, man.
I sure did. Should never give you that power.
Yeah, you got the next one for sure.
I had done most of them. All right. Um, Actually, the intro was actually pretty difficult to come up with in the beginning. JJ couldn't do it. Oh, talking about JJ. I got news on him. Ladies and
Okay,
gentlemen,
let's hear it.
I know it's been a while, but JJ has officially left the Incompetent Nerds podcast. Spoke to him. We chit chatted a bit, and he's officially done. It's not with the podcasting, but it is with the. It is he's due to family and you know family and scheduling. He rarely could just he rarely has the time to podcast.
Foreseeable circumstances.
Yeah, so that's not gonna stop him from ever coming back on. He did tell me you know if I need a guest or need some if for example Marc can't do it, he'll be more than happy to join. But you know, it feels bad. Like I started this with him, but he's always gonna be a founding father, especially if Incompetent Nerds blows up and becomes a pretty decent sized big podcast. He will still be mentioned as a founding father of this podcast. So that's the honor I am still giving him.
Rightfully so. Rightfully so.
Oh yeah. Now with that done, let's get back to some nerdy shit. I know I'm pretty old on this, but Bungie and Activision's breakup. Woohoo! That's all I could say.
So explain it for the folks who haven't picked up a video game in 3 years, aka me.
All right, so Bungie and Activision joined. Bungie started working with Activision in terms of making Destiny and other to make Destiny, and
Okay.
a lot of folks feel like Destiny could have been a much bigger game than it was currently, and how it was before, like Destiny 1, and now currently Destiny 2, without Activision constantly putting in their putting in their 2 cents, you could say. They kept push. You could say that a lot of the microtransactions, a lot of the marketing, a lot of the bullshit coming out of lot of bullshit coming out of Destiny 1 and 2
Mm-hmm.
could be due to the fault at Activision, making sure that they push, microtransactions, that people pay more for the game, and making it just not fun, or cutting content and then adding it later as DLC, and where the content should have been in there from the beginning. One prime example was the fact in Destiny 1, many folks will know that the Taken King DLC was not supposed to be DLC. It was originally supposed to be in the game in the vanilla. Right from the start, you were supposed to work your way up to the Dreadnought or the Taken
Mm-hmm.
King. But of course, they cut it out because the story was too long. They wanted more DLC for the game, and they wanted to push that. Bungie created I think a new Destiny game every 2 years with 4 DLCs in between.
Do you think that like, I guess what I want to ask is, like, do you think it was their fault with Destiny, or do you think it was like more so it was just the culture and the spirit of games changing, where, like, you had a game, but then you also had, like, you had to realize, like, you were going to be sold to in, like, a couple different ways, because
Yeah.
that's just how they make money now, and that's sort of what we all expect now.
Well, when it comes to like a lot of these live as a service games, I really fucking hate them.
Uh-huh.
When it comes to buying games now, I'm very picky.
Right.
I'm noticing a lot of my game purchases are going towards indies, just because the person who developed this game had a lot of heart in it, instead of a giant, instead of a, you could say, like a giant studio with like 150 plus employees, and there's pretty much not that much. There's no heart in it.
Right.
Um, I feel like it was Activision's fault when dealing with this because they were literally just trying to make as much money as possible right then and there instead of looking at it as in the long run. They
Mm-hmm.
didn't want to give. I feel like they didn't want to give Bungie the time, especially with the time frames they were giving them, and where every
Mm-hmm.
2 years you need to launch. I think it was a 10-year contract, and every 2 years you need to launch a new game with 4 DLCs within those 2 years. So in Bungie's, I want to say their team is about like like about 100 people or more.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say about let's run out to like 150, and you got the whole team working on Destiny 1, and then finally with that dropped, you had to now split the team in half or more than half to work on part 2, while the leftovers are working on DLC, and now on these piece of shit time frames, and where yeah, we gotta launch this game, we gotta launch this DLC, it makes it more difficult now that Bungie's no longer tied to Activision. I
They'll
feel
be able to get back to the roots and like get some of that heart back.
Yep, especially that in cases like this, in cases like these, what you call it, developers, I mean not developers, publishers tend to keep
Mm-hmm.
the IP or the
Oh, okay.
intelligent no what's it called, intellectual property.
Property, yeah.
They tend to keep it, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm guessing Activision didn't see Destiny being worth that much for them, so they let Bungie keep it. They're like, go ahead and
Wow.
keep the IP. And
Interesting.
where when Bungie left Microsoft, Microsoft kept Halo.
Mm-hmm.
So now we're just look. The way I'm looking at it is, I might jump back into Destiny 2 once I hear more word on what their plans are for the game. Are they gonna launch Destiny 3? And if so, how are they gonna do it? And if I should even spend, my money on it. Now that
Right.
Activision is no longer with them, it's like, okay, cool. Guess what? I could just go on and check out Destiny 3. It might be a way better game than the first two.
Yeah. I mean, like, I think if any time you have like a company that it's kind of it happens the opposite. It usually happens the opposite way, right? Where like a company starts indie and then they get bought out, and then
Yeah, of
that's
course.
like that's the dream, right? Is to like you got bought out by Activision or Sony or whatever, and then you get to make whatever game you want, and you get a contract, and it's great. But I think now it's like
I want to say that's like the
some
scary part where people are like, oh, yeah, I get to make whatever game I want. And to find out you really
they got a
can't
bunch of restrictions, right, right, right,
because you're yeah, you've been bought out, but now you have a boss. And where when you were indie, you were the boss.
right.
You can make whatever game you wanted to make. And now with that, it's just like it makes things more difficult. Now, if the person like what's his name with Minecraft, when he sold Minecraft to Microsoft,
Mm-hmm.
oh, he went about his business and just lived a
Sold it
lavish life.
and
Yeah,
walked away.
yeah. And I want to say that's most people. And I can't get mad at the guy. He made his millions of dollars, hell, billion.
Right.
Well, more like he made his millions of dollars. He sold the franchise and just he's like, I'm done making video games. This was my game. It blew up. Everybody loves it. People still play it to this day. There's conventions. There's merchandise. There's all type of stuff. And I want to say he does get royalties off the merchandise.
Mm-hmm.
Until the day Minecraft actually dies in popularity is a day he might go broke.
I think he'll be just fine. But that goes to like a bigger question, and I guess it brings me to like one of the points I want to talk about.
Yeah.
So I saw a show this weekend. I saw Lindsay L at the Hotel Cafe. She's a country singer, great guitarist. If anybody out there is ever interested, go check her out. And it was only for 165 people. It was a very, very small show. And the Hotel Cafe is like, it's pretty. It's only been around in Hollywood for like 18 years, so it's pretty new in terms of history.
Yeah.
But just seeing the show like that up close and like that intimate, it really gets you to think of like as an artist when you make something or like a creative, you want the people to enjoy it to like their heart's content, right? You want it to be a pure experience. But so often like when people sell out, or like when you get big or and grow in popularity or get famous or whatever you want to call it, like you lose sight of that, and it's sort of like, where do you like how do you manage the expectations of like, what video games am I going to go buy now, what like concerts am I going to go to, what movies am I going to go see, right?
Yeah.
I don't know if I got to tell you this, but I still have Movie Pass because I got the year subscription.
Yeah.
And so one of the last like theaters is one in Hollywood, and it's like a little 48 seat theater, and they only show indie movies. So I saw the movie Rust Creek
Yeah.
a couple Fridays ago, and dude, the filmmakers, like the three producers, just were there after the show, and they were like, yeah, like come have a beer with us, like talk about the movie, ask whatever questions you want. And I was like, this is so cool, and it's like almost a once in a lifetime experience of like getting to hang out with the people who just made the movie you just watched. But even more so, like when you sell out, you have to realize that those moments are not going to be able to happen anymore.
Yeah.
I think that, yeah, and then like for video games, it's like it's hard because you want to play what your friends are playing, but at the same time, like you want to play good quality games.
Oh yeah. No, I get you. And that's how I felt like. Um, what kind of like ticked me off at some time at some points where like getting some what you call it, references, or
DLC
not DLC, like just references from like friends about certain games, and then when I
recommendation, yeah,
get
okay,
recommendations, I play them, and I'm like, this game sucks. How do they like this?
right.
Like the fact that a friend of mine's, Chaos to be exact, pushed me to get Black Ops 3 and Destiny 2.
Okay.
And I felt like a fool because didn't like Black Ops 3. I haven't played a Call of Duty. That was the first time I bought a Call of Duty game since Modern Warfare 3. And then what you call it? And he got me with Destiny 2. So again, I bought Destiny 2, put some hours in it, and I was trying to force myself to like it. I'm like, yeah, this is pretty good. And then at the end, I'm like, wasted my motherfucking money for this.
Yeah.
So I felt like every time he recommends a game to me, I'm like, nah. If you bought it, I'm gonna play it on your system, and I'm gonna see if I like it. If not, I'm
Yeah,
not
or you're
playing it.
gonna lend it to me if you still have the disc.
Oh yeah, because it kind of like just ticked me off. Like, ugh, why?
Yeah, and it's like I think it's important to, the word of mouth like recommendation thing is like important, because we all ask each other constantly like, what's the best this? What's the best this? What's the best this? But like, I don't know, man, having those moments of like, yeah, like, the producers like had a beer afterwards, and like I can tell you like they had to come back and film because it got too cold, and like this is how they filmed this, and like that's just, I don't know, to me that's like a way better story and a way better experience than seeing something in a movie theater that 100,000 other people have seen, and it just kind of ruins the moment.
Yeah. No, I feel you. It does. What you call it?
That being said, I can't wait until I get to act in a movie that sells out,
Yeah, until you
because
get
it's
that day.
like,
He's like, woohoo! My name's gonna be known.
so I think there is something to be said about both sides, but you always have to try to find that like that personal touch or that personal experience.
I just got one thing for you, Mark.
What's up?
If you ever get a decent movie and there's a show, what you call it?
Premiere?
There's those premieres.
Mm-hmm.
Motherfucker, you better invite me.
You got it. You got it, buddy.
I don't care
Well,
if it's
that's
a
the thing.
drama or a rom-com or whatever. I don't care. If it's not a movie I like a certain genres, like I don't care for, I don't care. You're gonna invite me. I'm gonna have some popcorn and I might fall asleep.
That's awesome. Well, I was seeing I caught when my mom was in a comedy contest on Wednesday too. I guess a lot of things happened in the last week. I don't know why I didn't come up with them when you asked. But I caught the auditions, the open mic auditions. So like the comedians were doing 3 minutes,
Yeah.
and the booker said like, you have to understand about like the way comedy is right now. Like people are more likely to go see someone they heard on a podcast versus someone who is selling out arenas.
Yeah.
Only because like the podcast is like it's a more intimate setting. People listen in different mediums, and it's like it's more connected and it's more real
Yeah.
versus the arena setting. And you have to be okay with that and sort of willing to adapt.
Yeah.
So it's definitely interesting time to be alive.
It is. Anybody could podcast. You have the whole world's knowledge in the palm of your hand. You know,
Hmm.
you could be offended because of anything. It's amazing.
Yeah, I mean even kids, like the kids today, like they don't have those go-tos of like their entertainers or the people they watch.
Yeah.
They have YouTube, and it's like they model behavior from YouTube, and it's like, well, that's not always the best because like people who are doing YouTube are trying to obviously like get people to click a button or like subscribe or to keep watching, for
Yeah.
the
Keep it
revenue.
going. Yeah. Get that revenue going.
So it's just interesting to see things changing, as somebody in the creative sense and someone in a podcast right now.
What is it? All right. Next is we went from one shitty company to another shittier company. The big old EA. Electronic Arts, they just canceled another Star Wars game. This is news that I think a couple days ago, a few days, or maybe a week ago, that they announced, and a lot of people are mad. There's even people rallying up, telling Disney, like, remove that contract with EA. They're just destroying the Star Wars brand. What was it? They canceled that Star Wars 1313, which looked amazing. They canceled the one by Amy Hennig, who was the Uncharted director from I think 1, 2, and 3.
Mm-hmm.
No,
Wow.
the writer and I think director of 1, 2, and 3.
Mm-hmm.
They canceled that one because it looked too much of a linear single player game. They noticed they couldn't maximize their profit off of that. Fucking assholes. And then they canceled another one, which was an open world one, which I want to say that was the one where Amy Hennig was working on. It wasn't open world, but when they closed down Visceral Gaming, or Visceral
Mm-hmm.
Studios, they closed it down, took all the assets and everything from that game, gave it to another one of their little minions to work on, and they canceled it. And they were
Interesting.
turning into an open world game, and they're trying to maximize profits, with DLC and microtransactions, and that just failed. And of all the Star Wars games EA has made was the Battlefront 1 and 2, along with the one for the phone, Star Wars Galaxy, I think it was called, or something like that. And then another one that's being made by Respawn Entertainment. Dude, that's 4 games. This contract with Disney was for 10 years, and they only came out with 2 console PC games, 1 shitty mobile game, and now a Respawn one called Fallen Order.
Okay.
Yeah, Disney needs to just remove that. And I was listening to an interview where this guy, they were interviewing one of the writers for Rogue One, Star Wars Rogue One, and he was saying that they messed up when they closed down Lucasfilm because
Right.
I mean Lucasfilm, yeah, LucasArts Entertainment, when they closed that studio down and then gave this IP to whoever, which was EA. That's what they failed because you didn't have LucasArts wasn't there to tell them no, or yes, or we approve or we don't approve. That was gone.
Mm.
So it just made everything just bad.
Interesting. So what do you? So what's next? What do you think is next? Like, where do they
Um,
go?
I feel like Disney doesn't give a shit.
Mm-hmm.
So they're gonna have their 10 years with it, and I think their contract ends 2023 or 2021. I forgot.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no. Whenever Disney bought Lucasfilm, I want to say maybe a year after that, EA. So it's probably 2023 is the last. This is what the contract ends. But I feel like they just need to just end it and just no and give it to somebody else, someone who cares about making a game.
Right.
And I would say no to Activision. Um, there's a possibility with Ubisoft, but then again, no. Um, Rockstar, they're not a publisher. They're just a gaming studio, but I think they're under Take Two Interactive, which is another company become trying to become like an EA crappy company.
Right.
The only person I could think of who will probably do it right is CD Project Red. Jesus, I had a burp. CD Project Red, the
Mm-hmm.
folks behind Witcher and Cyberpunk 2077 or
Mm-hmm.
2047. No, 2077, yeah. And that's because they will actually look in, that will actually like take their sweet ass time with this game, with the games, and come out with a quarterly product that will sell.
Mm-hmm.
And this is coming from a studio where, bro, they had no experience making games, and they just got a whole bunch of people started developing The Witcher. They needed something to create a game, and they met with the author of the book, and they told him like, "Hey, you could either give you royalties, or this causes a whole nother stir, or we'll just pay you this whole one lump sum." He took the whole one lump sum, thinking he wasn't gonna make no money, and then The Witcher blew up, became this
Okay.
great game. This studio was high on the rise. I think they were an indie studio, and I feel like they will literally take care of they'll take that IP and really like turn it into something better.
Sure. Sure. I can see that. October 30th, 2012. That's Disney bought Lucasfilms.
So then yeah, I was correct on
So
2023 is the contract.
got it. So 10 years after that.
So yeah.
That's a long time, but
A long
it
time
goes
with
by quick.
yeah, long time and only 4 shitty games came out. That shows you with
So
EA.
what games have come out since then?
Battlefront 1 and 2, the Star Wars
Okay.
Galaxy for mobile phones, and
Hmm.
the fourth one being made by Respawn. That was it. 3 official games and one being developed by Respawn. And where throughout that time there were several freaking games. They wouldn't even let Silicon Knights make another Knights of the Old Republic,
Hmm.
which was a great game back in the day. I never actually played it,
Sure.
but I heard it was a great RPG. People loved it. The story and everything was amazing.
Hmm.
And they're just flopping, bro.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. I remember they used to be like pinnacles and big titans of the gaming world, but
I miss the old days in gaming, bro. Like I really do miss, back when I had my PlayStation 1, PS2, um,
hmm
like that era. That was just like, I want to say that was the high life of gaming.
hmm.
And then when the PS3 came out, like towards the end of its life, you saw like the whole games as a service mentality started to creep in,
Right.
and bam, it just it kind of ruins it. And this is why when I'm buying games, I always look for single player games like God of War, Spider Man, Horizon. Like those games are freaking epic.
Yeah.
My Switch, mostly single player games, nothing there. There's some, of course, I do have Mario Kart and some other like multiplayer Nintendo games.
Right.
I play those. And then, of course, hardcore like getting into the like hardcore indies side of it. Like those games are amazing. Like currently I'm playing Hollow Knight. Why haven't I played this game before? I am stuck on it. Not just because the gameplay and the mechanics and the art and the music and the tension that I play. It's also the lore that drives me in it. And I found out like in the making of it, of Hollow Knight, it was developed by 3 guys from Australia. The team, the studio is Team Cherry.
Mm-hmm.
3 of them, and plus there was a 4th guy who did the music and kind of helped out. But it's basically 3 guys who made the game. When they were creating the game, they were just doing gameplay mechanics and all that other stuff. They did not make a story. Once they were getting close to it, they're like, okay, let's make a story surrounding this. And the story is freaking crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Like the lore, I'm getting into the lore and I'm looking up I'm watching YouTube videos, looking up like, wow, how did all this, how all this happened? Like, why is this world just like this? And the fact, Hollow Knight, it's, the title in itself is like telling you something already to begin with.
Yeah. I think there's like a lot to be said for like a good story, like movies, video games, anything,
Oh yeah.
like nothing beats that.
Like, who would have thought like me going back in time, like playing these games that should have came out for like, the Super Nintendo or the PlayStation back in the day are like freaking kick-ass games. And these are the developers now, the people who grew up playing on these systems, on the Super Nintendo, the Genesis, the freaking PlayStation, the 64. They're just like, we want the nostalgia back. Of course I can make a Castlevania game or a Metroid or a Mario or whatever, but I could make a game that was similar to it because it's a nostalgia. I can make a game that's similar to it, but do it better.
I mean, it's just that I think the story goes along with like, how games are changing now too, because it used to be, sit in your room, hook it up to the TV, and you were gone. Like you're playing this game, it's telling a story, like that was the entertainment, right? Versus now it's like, it's all social and it's all online and it's all,
Yeah, because if it wasn't,
it's just consumed differently,
Oh yeah, because if it wasn't, me and you would never have known each other.
Right, exactly. We wouldn't be here right now, but
yeah. Cheers to PlayStation Home.
Single player games are still like my personal favorite, though. That I think they always will be.
Same here.
That's what got us on.
Yeah, I remember the very very first video game I played was, it was a hand-me-down NES system, the Nintendo Entertainment System. It was my cousin. He grew up, stopped playing video games, and my aunt passed it down to me. And I'll never forget when I first popped in Dunk Hunt and Super Mario, and Dunk Hunt with the gun. I'm shooting the gun. I even had the Power Glove. Didn't even know how to use it, but I had it.
Right.
And this was all like passed down to me, and I got stuck on it. And then
my stepbrother or half brother gave me his PlayStation one year for Christmas.
Yeah.
And SSX snowboarding was the first one I popped in. And that was it.
Dude, I remember SSX Tricky for the GameCube. I loved that game so much just because of how the comedy in it. It was just so much fun.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just like the nostalgia. Like if you go back and you're just like, I wish I could make these games, because you look at it now like, oh, dude, there's another Tony Hawk Pro Skater game. And you get it, you play, you're like, this is garbage. And where you play Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 and it was fun, especially during that time where skateboarding was big amongst folks, like in the early 2000s. It was like, damn.
Soundtrack too.
The soundtrack, like,
pretty sick.
it opened my eyes to like I always like growing up. Only music I listened to was just hip hop, R&B, Spanish, and house. That
Mm-hmm.
was it. But when I started playing like some of these games, like Tony Hawk Pro Skater, and hearing that music track, I'm like, holy crap!
All right, Grunge, I
What?
see you.
Yeah, I was like, yo, I'm listening to all other stuff too. I'm checking them out. And then, Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2. And then what was the other one? I think it was Underground,
Underground.
where would you credit yourself
Mm-hmm.
and you're like going around the world and trying to become a pro skater.
Exactly. That was a
Yeah,
move.
it was Underground. Dude, me and my brother played the hell out of these games. Like we created our own player, we're skating. One of my favorite levels was when you're in Hawaii and you had to jump down from the building and down
Mm-hmm.
like hit that ramp, and they recorded it, or going over a helicopter. I want to say
Oh
that
yeah,
one.
yeah.
Yeah, both of those were in Hawaii, and what I loved about that stage in Hawaii was that escapism
Yeah,
into the
for sure.
tropics. Born and raised in Chicago, where we have crappy winter weather and sometimes either decent or crappy summer weather.
Mm-hmm.
It's like I always wanted to go to the tropics, somewhere like
Mm-hmm.
like paradise. And when I played that
Right.
stage in like Hawaii, I kind of like felt I was there, even though
Transported there, yeah.
yeah. And if you look back, like I'm looking at these photos now, and it's like, ugh, ugh, these graphics are horrible. But
But you didn't know that back then.
yeah, we all didn't know that back then. We just like, oh my god, these graphics are amazing.
Oh man. Good times. Good times.
Oh yeah, in great times. Uh, let's move on to your. You were telling me earlier before the cast about a little story you had.
A story oh yeah, about the
The venue.
yeah, that was kind of tied into what we were talking about, the like selling the idea of like selling
Selling
out.
out.
But yeah, Hotel Cafe is it's a great place. You ever get to catch a show there? Like I would want to go back there just to see a show, and like I don't even care what genre it is. You know what I mean? Just because of how close you are to the artist, and like all the opening acts like stuck around, and like people were talking to them and whatnot, and it's like people play that place like right when they're about to blow up. You know what I mean? So it's like right before you can never get that opportunity again.
Yeah.
But I guess that I'll just ask, like, have you ever been to, you've seen live music before, right? Or not really? Not your thing?
I have. The two I have gone, like I never gone to like concerts or anything like, but I have gone to like small
Oh, okay.
venues. And the both times I went was with a buddy of mine who, he follows this band. It's literally like a pirate freaking they're a pirate themed rock band is rock mixed with like polka and folk, you could say.
Wow.
And you should check them out. It's called and because after me checking them out, I was like, yo, I really dig these guys, and they're freaking great people. Like once they're done with the show, they'll hang out with the crowd, they'll freaking drink their livers out with them.
That's cool.
But it's called crap, I can't believe I forgot it. I literally just texted my my colleague about it too. Where are you?
Sorry.
Yeah, awkward silence. Dude, where is it?
But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I feel like 2019, I want to do that more. I want to see I want to support more like local stuff and like smaller folks who are like just trying to get up off the ground, because I think that's when they need the support. You know what I mean? That's when they need the fans.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, that was my little note sesh. I'm looking at these stills from the Hawaii level. It does not look as bad as I thought it would be.
Yeah.
They still got the buildings, which are pretty good. Revenge of the Evil Tiki. Man, what a great game.
Found them. The Dread Crew of Oddwood.
Say that one more time.
The Dread Crew of Oddwood.
Okay. That's like a third Google search.
Yep.
Ahoy.
Heavy Mahogany is a decent song. Yeah, like Heavy Mahogany. They had like a couple decent songs, and when I went there,
they were on an Assassin's Creed game.
Yeah, I think it was Assassin's Creed 4.
Nice.
What else? I went to one. Went to one of their shows, like early. I think it was like early in the fall. It was like a few years back, and I got wasted and had a great time. And then I went a second time to another venue, which was actually a lot closer to my house, which made it easy for me. I'm like, okay, cool. I'll hang out with my guy. We'll go there. Met a. It was funny. Met a couple. Who were great people, and the husband was what you call it?
A fan?
No, he was he had Tourette's. There you go. So
okay.
So him and his wife made a drinking game out of it, and where every time his Tourette's kicked in, they would drink. So of course we're sitting at their table because we asked because the place was packed. I'm like, hey, can we share the table with you guys? Like, yeah, no problem. The more the merrier. We're like, all right, sweet. So me and the guy are sitting there. My guy buys a round. He's like, I'll get you guys a round. And yeah, when we heard that, his wife was like, yeah, he has Tourette's. So we just decided to make it a drinking game. So it's a great time. So every time he would go, huh! Bro, we would start drink. We'll just drink.
That's so interesting. Never heard that, but I love it.
Yeah. They were great. Like, they were great. You know, they're great live. They're fun. A mosh pit broke out where this freaking asshole hit this one guy. He dropped beer all over him. He got pissed. Then he bumped into me, and I straight up just shoulder rammed his ass. I'm like, I'm trying to record here, you ass.
Wow, that's hilarious.
Man, let's just say he ate the floor after I did that. And he got back up, and he was still going. I'm like, jeez.
Crazy.
Yeah. Never been in a mosh pit. I wouldn't even consider that being in a mosh pit. I just shoved them out of my way.
Right.
But a good friend of mine.
That might be too much for me.
Yeah, a good friend of mine, he was in a mosh pit and dislocated his thumb and broke his finger.
Jeez.
Yep. And I think he also dislocated his shoulder too.
Wow.
Yeah, they go in there hardcore, bro.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think I'm ready for that. I like the the low key stuff.
Yeah, my guy, he's like 6 foot. He's he's 6 feet tall, and damn near I think like 120 pounds. He's been working out. He's been losing weight, so I want to say he's like 220 pounds or 200. But back in the day, he was a little bit heavier. That's all. I'm like, and you got your first. You dislocated your middle finger, you broke your thumb, and you dislocated your shoulder. You should just stop doing mosh pits, bro. You're not built for that. Like, you would think you'd be built for that. You're not built for that.
Yeah.
You're just taught to look intimidating.
Exactly. Oh, man. Those things get intense, man. Can't imagine.
Oh, yeah.
Can't imagine.
All right, let's get to our last and not least.
Your weight loss.
I thought we were going to do snow hacks and weather. What's going on here? I'll end with the weight loss.
We were not on the same page.
But so for the snow hacks and weather, I don't know if you guys know, but Chicago has been horrible in terms of snow and ice cold weather.
Hey, last week it rained all week in LA.
What was your temperature in LA? And I swear to God, if it's above freezing point, stop being a little girl.
53 degrees.
See, screw you.
That was very cold.
That was very cold. I guess living in Flagstaff wasn't didn't help build you up enough.
Well, yeah, but see, it fades off. It only lasts like 3 years max. Now I'm back to normal again.
Yeah. Well, I've been going out. Well, all my life, I always went outside, to help, with
Do something.
groceries or do something like real quick. And you know what I'm rocking? Sandals, shorts, and just a jacket.
Yeah, yeah, because you're crazy.
Yep. That's the Chicago building. I feel like if I moved to LA and I lived out there, it might take a bit longer for me to feel like, man, it's freaking cold. What's the temperature? It's freaking 62. Might take a little longer, but yeah, it's been freaking below freezing point. Right now it's 33. Saturday was horrible when it came to snow. It snowed all day, all night Friday. When I woke up Saturday morning, it was horrible. The apartment I live in, we have our own little crew that they come and clean up the snow, but they decided not to clean my goddamn stairs and my back porch. So I
Oh
was
wow,
back there with a broom, not a shovel, because I don't own a shovel. Again, I don't have to shovel shit.
that's
So I was
crazy.
back there with a broom, sweeping snow off these steps, just so I can go ahead and throw out trash or leave through my backyard or whatever. And yeah, it was kind of annoying that I was back there sweeping snow, dealing with this, fighting this cold because it dropped and the wind was picking up. Um, that was a workout and a half. So here's some snow hacks and weather tips. If you live in an apartment complex and you have an
Okay.
open porch or an open whatever backyard, and your building don't, your management or landlord don't nobody picks that cleans that up,
Mm-hmm.
make sure you get a small shovel because they probably won't do it in time, especially if you request it. Just go in and put in a few minutes in there and just sweep it or shovel it off and throw a little salt in it.
Your best advice is if you don't have a shovel, get a shovel.
If you don't have a shovel, get a shovel. But if you want to go straight hardcore, hopefully you have a crappy broom that you still kept just in case, just to deal with that.
Okay. I have a few. I have a few I thought of slash some I found. So when I was in Flag, somebody told me this. I saw it on a website, and I thought it was crazy, and then I did it once, and it was great. This is more so for like once you were in the snow for a long time, and now you're out of the snow. So before you're about to go to bed, uh, blow dry your sheets before getting in them, and it warms them up. I don't know, it's a pretty good one. I liked it. Keeps you warm.
I didn't know about
Um,
that.
so okay, this one was really helpful. Uh, to waterproof your shoes. Any thoughts?
Um, to waterproof my shoes, isn't that the waterproofing spray for gym shoes and stuff?
Yeah, yeah, but
Yeah.
like if you don't have it, if you're in a pinch, WD-40.
Ah, yeah. My uncle told me that about it.
Yeah, WD-40 on your shoes. Just wipe it, like spray it one layer, then wipe it off. It is a lifesaver, dude. Like I had tennis shoes, and the good thing is, I love wearing my tennis shoes because they were so comfortable and the soles are pretty thick, right? So you can keep them on like for a long time.
Oh yeah.
But you don't want that cold air to get in your socks and like the ice. So I sprayed that layer, and it lasted like from December, I want to say, till like April,
Yeah.
and then it started to crack again as it got hotter, and then it just sort of wipes itself away once the snow stops. So it's like it's a good way to keep them moisture free,
Yeah.
and then you can also spray that on your car for snow buildup.
Yeah, I have that water repellent stuff for my shoes. I need to add it again because after I cleaned my shoes because dealing with the snow and freaking salt, and I'm an idiot because I hate wearing boots,
Hmm.
and I'm walking through all this stuff with just gym shoes on, some Jordans, and I'm just pissed off. Like, damn it, I should just really invest in some boots and call it a day.
Yeah. Okay. Here's
Also,
here's a big question though. Have you ever slipped?
Have I ever what?
Slipped.
Slipped? Oh, all the time.
Okay.
But I haven't slipped hardcore where I literally fell on my ass. I
Right.
just that one slide where it rushes your heart for a moment.
Right. Where you're like, oh shit, I'm gonna die, but I'm not.
Yeah, like okay, I'm good.
Yeah.
Sometimes you might pull something because you reacted too much for a small slide.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Another tip is and this again goes with the broom. Easily things to use if you don't have a garage and you're
Okay.
parking your car in the street and it snows heavily. Have your broom, because using a little brush to wipe snow off your car sucks.
Okay.
Especially after the snows 6 to 10 inches. That's what happened over here. It snowed, I think, about 7 inches.
Wow.
Um, my mother did not, when she went to work, did not want to go ahead and deal with that. So she took an Uber, and then tasked me with the job of go clean my car and warm it up for me. God,
Huh.
I got other stuff to do today.
Um.
But I did that, and
Yeah.
instead of using that little brush, which was a pain, I just went straight to the broom, and it made it so much easier. Because now I was able to reach. Because in Chicago, they will find you if
You
you
just
do
keep
not
your car there.
if you do not clean the roof. So if you clean your car and you drive but don't clean the roof of your car with the snow, they'll find you.
Well, why? Oh, because
It's a hazard.
it hits on other people, right?
When it's
Right.
falling off due to driving, especially on highways, it could blind a person, or a nice chunk could come out and hit the window and
Right.
cause all problems. So it's a fine. So cleaning that with a broom makes it a whole lot easier. So that's what I did, and I had to. And my grandmother calls me and tells me, "Hey, what are you doing? Cleaning the car. Oh, well, you're done. Can you do mines? Are you gonna pay me?"
Okay. Did it get stuck? Like any of the snow stick to the bristles? Since you only have a
Um,
broom.
yeah. And with that, I just bang it. I just bang it on the tires, just to get
Okay.
it loose. Or when I was sweeping my porch, I was banging it either on the porch or on my leg to get the get the snow off the bristles.
All right. Next time you take your handy dandy broom out there for the car or the porch, spray some Pam or some cooking oil on it.
For that oil.
Then you will get no moisture because the oil won't bind with the water. So
Yeah.
snow will just stay right off that thing.
Oh, that's a good tip. Didn't even think about that. Didn't even know that.
Yeah.
You're gonna make
Man.
me want to try that.
Yep.
I got a fresh bottle of cooking oil too. I mean cooking oil.
Cooking
The
Pam.
spray, yeah.
So one time my buddy's locks froze, and I was like, I've never encountered this problem in my entire life before, right?
Yeah.
So we like couldn't shove the key in the locks. We were like, how do we do this? And thankfully my friend had a lighter. I was like, well, what if I just heat the key up? And so I like put the key around the lighter and like made it pretty hot, and then it just slides right into the thing like butter. You just have to be careful like taking it out because sometimes it gets a little bendy when you have that when it's a little hot.
Yeah. You're
But
weakening the metal.
right, but it is a way to get out of it.
Oh yeah.
Tough stitch.
You always find out ways. We always do.
Yeah, everybody finds a way.
All right. Last but not least, my weight
Your
loss update.
your weight loss. Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, I am glad to announce your boy Tank is 280 pounds.
Ooh, congrats.
I have lost a total of 22 pounds.
You were 302? Oh wow.
I was 302. And it was crazy. I was always like, when I left high school, I was 275 pounds. And I just stood stuck in that region.
Right.
The last time I ever dropped below that, I was 250 was my lowest point in my adult life.
Okay.
And that was when, I was talking to you about my whole weight loss and everything at that time. I think it was like 21, 22. Yeah, you were in college. We're just going to college. Oh, God, that was years ago. And now I'm back at it again. I am 280 pounds. My goal for this year is to be 250. 30 more pounds to go.
Wow. Is your girl pissed because you like just shed 20 pounds by like January 22nd?
No, yeah. No, she's proud, but then again, kind of, you know, she lost some weight too. She dropped I think a total of already 15.
That's not bad.
It's not bad here. Because she's been doing the same, watching what she eats, dropping all the unhealthy stuff, and just being focused. So
Mm-hmm.
she dropped 15 since she started. And she started, I want to say, before me. The only difference is I'm working out. I'm doing a lot of
Mm-hmm.
like home workouts. Like after this podcast, I'm doing my little workout here,
Okay.
and then I'm done for the night.
Nice. Nice, nice, nice.
But yeah.
Well, good luck, buddy. We're
Well,
all
thank
rooting
you,
for
thank
you,
you.
obviously.
Yeah. Hopefully, next time we see each other, you know, I'm a little bit thinner. Especially if I go back to
Mm-hmm.
LA. You know, I could probably be a little.
Need that beach bod.
Oh hell yeah! Walk around and
Take the shirt off.
definitely walk around with the shirt off.
I'm just kidding.
Hey, I still took off the shirt when we did the Hollywood Hills hike. Jeez, that was a pain in my ass.
Yeah, that one's a crazy one.
Oh yeah, but I still did it. My big ass went all the way up there.
Hmm.
You know, I tire quickly, but I don't give up that easy.
Right.
What happened?
Oh, I just said right.
Oh, I thought you said why. I'm like, asshole. Well, I think this is a good time to let end. Ain't that right?
Great time.
Alrighty. Mark, you did the intro. You go ahead and do the outro.
All right. Well, guys, thanks for listening. We'll catch you back out here next week for another episode of Incompetent Nerds. Again, I'm Mark. You know where to find me in the description with your host, Tank. And we'll see you guys next week. Take care.
Peace.